Okay, welcome to another episode of Connect and Politic. We're here with a special guest. Please introduce yourself by telling us your name, where you're currently located, and your favorite snack.
Hello, my name is Krystal. I am from Canada, and my favorite snack is probably potato chips.
Potato chips. Any special brand? These are not homemade potato chips.
No. I really liked not Lay's, Ruffles au gratin, but then they got discontinued. And lately I've been vibing on crunchy Cheetos with jalapeno in them.
Interesting. Do you remember your favorite food as a child?
Probably pasta.
Any special type of pasta?
No, so my dad is a professional chef.
Nice.
So I had access to really good food growing up. But like any kid, my favorite was probably like boxed mac and cheese.
Nice. So do you currently, as an adult, do you have a favorite food or a favorite meal?
I'm lucky again because my husband's actually a fantastic cook.
Uh,
I like eating what he makes, but I don't particularly enjoy cooking myself.
uh,
I still love pasta. I really like Mexican food.
okay.
Yeah, basically anything and everything I'm willing to try.
Okay. So, when was the last time you had Mexican food?
Well, we usually do Taco Tuesdays, and I make the tortillas myself.
You say you do?
From scratch, I do.
Nice.
And we have like guacamole with it. My husband will make homemade salsa sometimes. Shredded cheese.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
So you've had this recently, I take it. Pretty much.
Yes.
Okay.
Every Tuesday.
Nice. What's your fondest memory from childhood?
When I was a little girl, I was obsessed with The Wizard of Oz, and I would watch the movie every day and pretend that I was Dorothy every day. So my mom for Christmas one year made me a Dorothy costume. She even like hand glued on the little sequins for the ruby red slippers and a little basket with Toto.
Mm-hmm.
And I was Dorothy every single day for a year.
So this is, you were in school then, or this is younger than school?
I'd say I was in like maybe junior kindergarten, like 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So every day you were Dorothy.
Every day.
Nice. Do you miss anything about being a child?
I miss feeling safe. And I think because of everything that's going on in the world right now, the ability to not really know the scale of the pandemic and the injustices and just sort of live in your own little happy bubble and feel protected by your parents. I miss that about being a kid.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually that's a great thing about being a kid. Like, you're literally, you can be as unaware as possible, like, and not know what's going on. And how do you think your childhood helped groom you into the person you are today?
I was never really one of those teenagers or kids that went through a rebellious stage and didn't know what they had. I guess that it was because I had friends that didn't have really good home lives. And I saw that I was really blessed to have the home life that I had. I had 2 parents that loved me. I had 2 little sisters. I had an older brother. And family and the importance of family was always drilled into us from a very young age. And it's something that I try and instill with my own children now. is that sense of, I mean, at the end of the day, family is all that you have.
Yeah. And I think you kind of alluded to this, but you grew up with both your mom and your dad, correct?
Yes.
So outside of the lesson of the importance of family, what are some of the most important lessons you learned from them?
So my parents actually sent me to a Catholic school, but they weren't Catholic. And their whole reasoning was that they wanted us to be good people and to do good things. And I remember when I was 14 and started questioning religion and everything else, I talked to my mom about it. And it was one of the most poignant conversations that I've ever had with her. And she said, look, at the end of the day, I don't care what you believe. You can believe that there's a God, you can believe that there's not. But all that you need to know is do unto others, and that's it. It could have been ended with that one phrase. That's all that you need to do.
Mm.
Um, they're the best people. Like my dad is the dad who cries during concerts and recitals because he's just so proud of you. And my mom is the kind of person who shows you in 1,000,005 ways that she loves you just by doing little things.
Mm. Nice. Those are great lessons. And what surprised you as you left your parents' house and you moved into adulthood, into the real world? What surprised you?
Trying to think. That even though I'm an adult and I'm a mother and I'm a wife, at the end of the day and in those moments of crisis or when I feel like I need somebody, that I can be 35 years old and still want to call my mom, that feeling and that kinship and that pull never really goes away.
And when you were, there's the paradigm of teenagers wanting their independence and, wanting to get away from mom and dad. So did you have that strong independence need as a teenager? And then when when you finally did leave, did you were shocked that you still had that pull? Is that what it was?
Um, I guess that I expected that once I was older, that I wouldn't need them as much.
Yeah.
And I think you still do need them. It just sort of evolves.
Yeah.
Your relationship evolves.
Yeah.
And especially since becoming a mother, having a woman in my life who's been there that I can call upon at any time and she's there is a gift because not every woman has that.
Yeah. What are your favorite things to do for self-care?
So my background is this little light thing. So I have an unfinished basement and I've strung up about 30 strands of fairy lights through the rafters. And I call this my studio space. And when my kids are in bed, it's where I come down and I record music and I sing and I play my ukulele and I just kind of create.
Nice. What you sing songs you wrote, or you sing popular songs?
I wrote one song. That's about it. I'm a novice ukulele player. I just learned last year. Mostly my favorite things to sing are jazz. I love singing jazz. It's my heart song. I love how it's either super joyful or it's super melancholy and there's no in between. And I love how every recording of a jazz artist never sounds the same because there's always improvised instruments and improvised vocals, and there's room to play.
Yeah. And how did you get introduced to jazz?
Growing up, my parents had an Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong CD. And they also had Nat King Cole and Natalie Cole's Unforgettable. And I remember being 9 and stealing it to go and listen to it in my room over and over again. I just loved how romantic it sounded.
Who's your favorite jazz singer of all time?
Billie Holiday.
Nice. Any particular song of Billie's or entire catalog?
A lot of it. I also think she led a fascinating life. I read her biography. I think her whole life was tragic. But the music that she made was beautiful. And I love how you can hear it coming almost from her gut all the time.
Yeah. So you come in this basement to create and sing. If you were to write a book, what would it be about?
I don't know. I think it would be about relationships with people and connection. Before I stayed home with my youngest, I was a childcare teacher. It's my professional background, and just how important relationships are to children in particular in their formative years, and how every child needs at least one good adult in their life who believes in them and who loves them unconditionally.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I think everyone would agree with what you just said. As a, so as a child care teacher professionally, is this what you dream about as a kid? Did you, like when you envision something where you were going to be as an adult, what, as a teacher generally, or was this something else?
When I was little, I wanted to be a journalist, like April O'Neil in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then in high school, I went to a performing arts school. I was in their theater program. So I thought about that for a while. Then I had a high school placement, a co-op placement at an Ontario Early Years Center that I really enjoyed. And that sort of steered me into looking into early childhood education.
Yeah. Are you? Who's your favorite turtle?
Michelangelo, of course.
Perfect answer. Good one. Is there something on your bucket list to learn or do?
One day, I'd like to be brave enough to sing in front of a live audience.
Okay.
I sing in my basement. I sing with a choir, but I've never sang solo in front of people ever in my life.
Yeah. Have you considered streaming your singing sessions downstairs? I mean, your basement. So then, and then obviously folks will be digital, but maybe that would start the, release some of the pressure of doing it in person.
Well, I do it already a little bit. So there's this app, it's a karaoke app, and one of the features is doing what they call a live jam.
Uh-huh.
So you can sing, and then you can invite other people to sing with you, and it's live. So anybody can come in the room, anybody can listen. Um, and through that app, I've actually made a lot of friends and have discovered um, a lot of really amazing voices. And it's actually taught me a lot musically, just by listening to other people. So that's been really great.
Nice, nice. What's the name of the app?
Smule, Smule.
Is there anything you want to unlearn?
No, because I'm very afraid of change.
Interesting.
I'd rather just stay stagnant
Yeah.
than risk going backwards.
So another question. I mean, which you brought up. So you're afraid of change, but have you learned anything recently that changed your perspective on a subject, product, or idea?
Um,
And recently could be the last 12 months, the last year.
that I'm a better person and I'm a better mother and I'm a better wife when I prioritize doing things for me sometimes,
Nice.
because I wasn't before and I was a whole lot unhappier.
Nice. Can you think of any advice you would give your younger self?
You're not stupid and it's going to be okay.
Those are two jewels to live by. What's the best advice you receive about money?
My mom recently told me that I needed to spend money on myself, and I have a lot of guilt with that. I often will be at the store and I'll see something and put it in my cart, and then when I get to the cash, I put it away. And she told me, you have to go spend money. And if your heart doesn't beat outside your chest when you get to the register, you haven't done your job. It's okay to spend money on you sometimes.
Yeah. Listen to mom.
Yeah.
Um, what has been the toughest thing you've had to tackle, and what helped you get through it?
Probably the death of my grandfather. Um, I loved him deeply. He was an incredible man. He, like, there should be a movie about him. He was kind and so intelligent and loved life and just went after what he wanted. Um, and when he passed away, that was my first experience with loss. And I remember feeling like I was never going to be happy again. I didn't know what it went to mourn. I didn't know. I remember my dad telling me nobody knows how to. There's no way to do it. Um, then when my firstborn was born, I gave him my grandpa's first name as his middle name as a tribute to him. Uh, but that would probably be the hardest thing.
Yeah. So, what helped you get through it? Was it just time, or is it one of those things that you're not through it? Um, yeah.
It's interesting because we recently, in the last month or so, had to put down our family dog, um, who has always been in my children's life. And I think just with COVID and everything else that's happening, I think my kids feel the loss the most, just because their whole worlds have literally turned over, like upside down overnight. Everything that they've known is gone.
Yeah.
Like school is gone, playdates is gone. Like my oldest took karate, that's gone. Time with his cousins is gone. And then just a family dog. And watching my oldest son grieve and knowing that it's a process. And as much as I want to fix his feelings, I can't fix his feelings. He just has to get there. All that I can do is sort of be beside him, but I can't fix it. And I don't think you can fix grief. You just, it's like this analogy that I heard about a child that's tantruming. You just have to let them go through the tunnel. You can scream about being in the tunnel. You can kick your feet. You can say that you don't want to be in there, but there's going to be another side and you just have to get through it.
Indeed, indeed. When I say happy, what comes to mind?
My children.
Any elaboration, or just the thought brings you happiness?
They are the best thing that I've ever done as a human being, just because, and I can't take credit for all of it. I mean, some of it's my husband too, but just that we made these little people who are very different in personality, but that have such good hearts. And my oldest is 8, my youngest is 4, and the 8-year-old, I see a lot of me and him. He's a highly sensitive person. His soul runs deep. He takes everything to heart. There's a real softness and sweetness to him. And my 4-year-old is just, he's joyful when he's not grumpy, because he's either super sweet or super sour. There's no in between with him. And he has a little curl on his forehead, like Superman, that kills me. They make me happy.
Nice, nice. What qualities or character traits do you admire in other people?
Kindness, integrity, empathy, compassion, humor, intelligence, tenacity.
Great qualities. All right, for a fun question, if you won the lottery tomorrow, what will you do?
Well, it's kind of hard with COVID now to live those big dreams. I think I would buy a house. I would pay off my parents' mortgage and my siblings' mortgage. I'd take a long holiday somewhere. I would go to Chapters and buy all the books. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them.
Okay, okay.
I would actually make like a real recording space.
A studio.
Like a real studio. My brother is a fantastic musician and really sort of inspired me to do music because I love it and it makes me happy. And just like a proper space to record things with him and watch his eyes sort of like pop out because he's an audiophile at all the equipment that I could buy. I think that would bring me some joy.
You mentioned you would go on elaborate vacation? Any place in particular?
I really want to see all of Canada before I see the rest of the world. Like, I want to see it from tip to tip, like everything, including like the northern provinces and territories, like everywhere.
Nice. When I say forgiveness, what comes to mind?
Not forget.
That's
I
good.
have a hard time forgiving people. I think Maya Angelou said, when somebody shows you who they are the first time, believe them. I can be very cut and dry with people. If they hurt me, then it's hard for me to forgive them.
Yep. All right. As a parent, you mentioned that you're the love of your life. Um, what values are you hoping to imprint on them?
Uh, First and foremost, I want them to be empathetic. I want them to be compassionate. I wanted them to treat people with respect and dignity and treat themselves with respect and dignity. Um, how important family is, to work hard and take pride in what they do. And just like my mom said, to do unto others.
Yeah, those are good. Um, is there anyone you would like to thank or express your appreciation for that you haven't had the chance to yet?
Probably my grandpa, um, because he passed away when I was 17 or 18. So a little backstory on him. He went to Spain on a school trip in university. He was taking it as the second language in his 60s. And he called my dad and said, I fell in love with the country and I fell in love with a woman and I'm not coming home. And he didn't. But he would come every summer to spend time with us. And when I was 15, he sent me a plane ticket and told me to come and see him in Madrid. And I remember I packed a whole suitcase that was just books because I love to read. And I got to my grandfather's apartment and he was an avid reader. There was just books everywhere. And he looked at my suitcase and he said, don't read that Daniel Steele garbage. You got to read like Margaret Atwood and all these other great authors. And I never really got to tell him because that year at school had been such a hard year for me. And I had been going through some pretty bad depression, what that plane ticket actually did for me and what that trip did for me.
The grandparents. No, that's good. All right. For our final question, how do you define success?
Being able to look at yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and say, you made somebody else's day a little bit better, or you brought love today, or you made somebody feel special or good. I think that that's what a successful person is how they treat other people.
Perfect way to end this. We connected.
We did.
And we'll do this again in the near future. Thanks a lot.
Sounds good. Thank you. Bye.